Hey, what's up, everybody out there? Welcome back to the channel. It's Brother D, Thoughts to Reality. So I was on Instagram earlier today, and I put up a picture of me and my wife that I took over the weekend, and I'll put that picture up here on the screen so that you all can see it. And I got a message from somebody, from a guy who basically was asking for some advice, some relationship advice. He saw that the caption basically said, me and my wife, talking about me, literally me and my wife, have been together for 18 years. And he wanted to know, what do you do? What do you guys do to keep the interest, to keep the fire burning? Like, what do you do? Because so many relationships end. He tried to give me some statistic or something about, a lot of relationships in around 5 years. And I do know that the divorce rate, at least in America, is over 70%, which is very, very high. And it is rare that you see two people stay together as long as we have. It's very rare. We are coming up on 20 years in 2024. I have no doubt that we will make it there, especially on the route that we're on right now. We're both growing physically, mentally, and most important of all, spiritually. We're getting closer to God together. And I think that is one of the most important components when it comes to a relationship. If God's not in it, it's not going to last. Trust me. You're just basically holding on to infatuation and hope at that point. So I'm making this video to kind of piggyback a little bit off of the response that I gave this young man. And basically what I want to say, I wanted to do this with my wife too, but we may do this on another platform together, and I'll just do this separately on this channel. She's more so for short material, while I'm more so for longer material, but I can do both. So I'll just cover the longer material portion here on YouTube. So in a relationship, number one, definitely needs to be communication, I'd say. Things tend to get lost in translation when you don't speak your mind, when you don't say what you mean and mean what you say. When you talk out of the side of your mouth, or when you hide things, all of this is just a recipe for disaster at the end of the day. If you can't communicate with somebody in which you claim you want to be with, then you really shouldn't expect it to last that long, because people will only put up so long with a person that fails to communicate properly. You can look past it first couple years or so, but eventually you're gonna hit a wall and realize that this person that I'm with does not know how to express themselves to me, and I may not know how to express myself to them. Some people come to that realization and then just kind of part ways. It happens. Definitely communication would be number one. And of course, number two, in my opinion, would be respect. Be respectful of each other's goals, your mentality, respectful of and supportive as well when it comes to the things in which you want to try to achieve. So many times there's always one person in the relationship that tries to downplay or shut down something that the other person wants to do, and it may not even be anything dangerous or detrimental. They just shut it down because for their own selfish reasons, we'll say. Example, me and my wife, let me just put it like this. I was not always the way that I am, and I had a lot to learn over all these years, and I feel like to this day I'm still learning my wife, and she feels like she's still learning me. And I think that's how it should be, because people don't stay the same after all these years. People evolve, people change, people reach higher standards when it comes to life. It's all about if you want to keep being with that person, you have to, first of all, identify that this person is still growing, and then number two, adapt to their changes as well, and love on them even more, regardless of whatever it is they're turning into, as long as it's not a monster, that is. All too many times people leave relationships because the kitchen gets a little hot. arguments may come in and some words may be exchanged. We are all guilty of saying things in which we don't mean. We're all guilty of we just are. I know I've said things I didn't mean. My wife has said things she didn't mean, earlier on, and even a little bit into our marriage. But it's not the end of the world. People have this fantasy mindset of what marriage is. Like, oh, we're never going to argue. We're never going to struggle. We're never going to be tried. Listen, the devil hates marriage at the end of the day. And there is nothing that he's going to do. Nothing's going to stop him, essentially. He's going to keep coming back, trying to destroy marriage. But I'm trying to tell you, when you put God in the middle and you let him govern you and your significant other, there is no room for the devil to come in. There is no room for him to try to conquer. There's no room for him to, have dominion over you or your wife or your husband, or whoever the case may be. I can honestly say that for me, supporting my wife's goals, as a business owner and some of those type of things, is something that I know for sure that she just really, really appreciates. And doing things that our spouses appreciate is major. It should never just be about one person. It shouldn't just be about the wife. It shouldn't just be about the husband. There used to be this saying called "happy wife, happy life." No, that's not how it goes. It's supposed to be happy spouse, happy house. Husbands have a right to be happy. It is his wife's job. It's the wife's job to keep her husband happy, and wives need to be happy. It's the husband's job to keep her happy, and you need to work on each other. And then some personal development too, admitting when you're wrong, admitting when you need help, admitting that there are some things that are flawed about you. I'm always trying to pick out what's wrong with me and throw it out there so I can make it better. And my wife is getting to that point now where she's being more open about being broken down herself and admitting her wrongdoings. And there's no pride, eliminating pride. The Bible tells us that pride comes before destruction. And, I'm not trying to have that. We need to go ahead and eliminate pride ASAP, because it's no good. It destroys everything at the end of the day. You can't fix your marriage. Well, let me try to get over here. Oh, let me back my car up some. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to drive over here. Somebody blocked me in. But yeah, you can't fix your marriage if there's pride. You can't fix your relationship if there's pride. You got to get pride out of the picture. You got to get that out if you want a long relationship. Everybody is different. Every relationship is different. You have to know the person that you're with. You got to know them. You got to know what they like. You got to know what they hate. You got to know what turns them on. You got to know what turns them off. You got to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. And some people may say, well, that's too much. Well, then if you think that's too much, then maybe you don't deserve a spouse. Maybe you don't deserve to be in a relationship if you think that's too much, because when it comes to a successful relationship, folks, work is required. Work needs to be done. There is no getting around that at all. And until people understand that, people's marriages and relationships are going to keep failing. So, yeah, I'm going to just throw this out there. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. And I do recommend that people pick up this book called The 5 Love Languages. Me and my wife had started reading it recently, and it's pretty good material, real good material. We're always trying to do things together. That's another thing, that we don't exclude each other out of activities or anything like that. If it's something new I discover that I feel like it's going to help me, then I will definitely, plug her onto it too, because that's my wife. I want her to be on point, just like me. So always look out for your partners as well. God bless each and every one of you. Love you. Peace.